Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is good to see you guys as usual. So today I am going to do a story time. I had never really did story times until here recently. I've been liking to do them. And this one is pretty interesting. I'm going to be talking about the hospital rooms that I've stayed in that are haunted, and stories about the hospital, the hauntings of this hospital, all of that good crazy stuff. So this is gonna be interesting and spooky. So if you are watching this at nighttime, you might want to turn on a light. So let's go ahead and get right into this video.
Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay to my life, sending no rainbows, playing it cool. I don't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger. You're stronger.
Okay, so might as well get comfortable, right? So, I don't know where to start. Okay, so, but this goes back to peds, and sorry about my port. It's not cute, I know, sorry, but I have to use it to get my medicines while I'm here. Guys, I'm sorry about my ADD throughout this whole freaking video. I get distracted so easy. That's just me. I've always been that way. I have ADD really bad, so I'm sorry about that throughout the whole video, but just letting you know. But anyways, this hospital is haunted, which is not very far-fetched or crazy to think that a hospital is haunted, because, I mean, people die in it all the time. And it's creepy to think that on the bottom floor, there's dead bodies down there. That's so creepy to think, but it's true. People die in the hospital all the time. So, back in peds, there were a few rooms that I stayed in that were haunted, and one particular story is very, very, very creepy, but I'm going to tell you a few different stories, but I'm going to tell you about the one night I spent in one of the rooms that I literally told them, I was like, I cannot do this. You guys have to move me rooms or I have to go home. I can't handle this. There's very bad energy in this room. This is insane. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and get into that. So, I am usually, in peds, there's the east side and then there's the west side. West is more for cancer patients and kids that have seizures and stuff to do with your brain and stuff, and cancer. So that's usually where the kids go. They go to West if they have cancer or anything like that. Now on East is the side I'm always on. That's where the CF patients go. That's where if you just had surgery, that's where you're gonna go. That is like just everything else besides cancer. And I'm sorry about also this around this. When I take showers, I have to put a big bandage thing around this to keep this from getting wet. So I'm sorry about taking off my spray tan. It looks horrible, I know, trust me. And I know my hair is like ADD moment, sorry, but I know my hair is not very pink anymore. So when I get out, I'm going to do something to it. And I will insert that picture right now. So that is the color that I'm thinking about doing. You guys comment down below what you think. It's either that blue color, bluish lavender color that I just put on there, or something like a minty green, not an ugly green. Do not even think that I'm talking about that. I'm talking about like what Kylie Jenner did when she first started dyeing her hair. It was like a minty, bluish green color, super pretty. But yeah, so I'm thinking about that or the blue lavender color. Back to what we were talking about. I just had to address those things so you guys didn't think I was letting myself go or something. But anyways, so I'm always on East with my nurses that I'm close with, or I was. Always on that side. Sad to say that I'm an adult now, but anyways, there were times that East was full, so I did have to stay on West a few different times. But one time in particular, this was about 1.5 years ago, I stayed in room 496. And this room is, as soon as you walk into the children's hospital, it's the first room on the right. And it has an ante room. So an ante room is, I think I'm pronouncing that right, I'm not sure, but it's a room that you walk into this room and then you walk into the hospital room. So this room is where you can wash your hands, gown up, put gloves on, put a mask on, put all this stuff on. If you're going into it, they usually put people that are highly contagious, like tuberculosis or meningitis or anything that's very, very contagious and very serious. They will put them in those rooms because the ante room is sucking out the negative pressure, air, whatever, and I don't know the scientific terms or whatever, but it is doing all that, and so it keeps the germs from getting out of the room, if that makes sense. But anyways, I stayed in this room. I got in the room. As soon as I got in this room, I had a horrible, horrible feeling. It was like the worst, like, negative energy in that room, and I was like, I do not like this room at all. Like, as soon as I got in the room, I was in such a bad mood, and I was like, I do not like this. Middle, with your career, just a little, you're supposed to hold me down, but you're holding me back, and that's the sound. I mean, I'm calling you back. Oh my god, I hate myself. Ugh, why can't I pay attention? Okay, so I'm in this room for a few hours, and randomly I get this horrible pain in my chest and start screaming, crying. The nurses and doctors rush into my room like it was bad. And they never figured out what was wrong. It was just so scary, and it hurt so bad I couldn't even breathe. Like, I was like, I can't breathe. Like, I was trying to tell them I couldn't. It was so scary. So, anyways, I just had a really bad feeling. I had anxiety all night that night. I was texting. This was when I was still with Kevin. So I was texting him constantly. I was like, I feel like something's bad. It's going to happen. Like, be careful tonight. Like, I just have a really bad feeling. And, like, it was just bad. Like, really, really bad. So I told them, I was like, move me rooms as soon as possible, because I really don't like this room. It's like giving really bad energy, and I already hate rooms if they only have a tiny little window. I have to have like a big window, like what I have in this room. I have to have that, or I get super depressed. I have to have a big window to look out, and it makes me feel better. So anyways, I that night I went to sleep or whatever, the whole night, I had dreams all night that the room that I was sleeping in was haunted. And I had a dream about a little girl that was haunting the room. This is where it gets freaky. Had a dream about a little girl that was haunting the room. And I had a dream I went to her grave. So weird. So weird. Then, so all night I'm having these terrifying nightmares. And, like, they're not like, oh, it's like a funny ghost. Like, haha, no. Like, these dreams were scary. And they were nightmares. Like, they were scary. And so then the next morning my mom was like, yeah, you were laughing in your sleep last night. I was like, no, that's impossible. I was like, I was having nightmares all night. I was like, this room is haunted. I'm not kidding. I want out of this room. This room's haunted. Haunted. Swear. Mark my words, this room's haunted. So my mom's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I was like, I couldn't have been laughing in my sleep if I was, like, scared to death in my sleep the whole night. And I was in such a deep sleep I couldn't wake up. I was trying to wake up because I was having such bad nightmares, but I couldn't. It wasn't anything like sleep paralysis. I'll do a video on sleep paralysis too, because I have had that many times, and it is terrifying, but it wasn't sleep paralysis. But anyways, so either my mom heard a ghost laughing in the room, or I was laughing in my sleep, which is very unlikely because I was having nightmares all night long. And, or I was possessed. I have no clue. So, anyways, of course, the next day I was like, the nurse came in and I was like, I really hate this room. I just kept telling her to move me rooms, and she was like, I'm working on it, I'm trying. And she was very sweet, and she did end up getting me moved. But I was like, I feel like this room's haunted. Like, I really do. And she was like, no, it's not haunted. And I was like, okay. It's freaking haunted, man. Like, I believe in this shit. This is haunted. So she came in and she was like, I don't think we're going to be able to find you a room today, but hopefully tomorrow we can get you a new room. And I was like, damn it. Like, I'm going to leave. I can't handle being in this room another night. I'm terrified. Like, my mom had left that night, so I didn't want to be in that room another night. Especially by myself. So, finally, she got me a room. I got moved rooms. And as soon as I left the room, that energy and that negative energy and all of that just went away. As soon as I got out of that room into a new room, I felt so much better. I was, like, in a good mood. I was happy. I was with my nurses that I wanted to be with, and I was just in such a better mood out of that negative energy. So, one of my favorite nurses, the one that I stay with sometimes, that I'm really close with, she comes in my room, in my new room that I got, and she goes, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you while you were in that room, because I probably would have gotten in trouble, but that room that you were in is one of the most haunted rooms on the children's floor. And I was like, I knew it. I looked at her and I said, I knew it. And I looked at my mom and said, I told you that room was haunted. I could feel it. And it was so weird that to actually think that I could feel, and I knew that it was haunted, but nobody else could feel it, but I could feel it, you know? So once I got moved rooms, I was so happy, and I was talking to one of my favorite people from Child Life, which is they're people that come and hang out with you, you know, because the hospital gets boring, so she comes and hangs out with you and stuff. There's a bunch of them though, but she's my favorite. So I was sitting there and I was talking to her. I was like, dude, the room I was in was haunted. And she was like, what room was it? I was like, 496. I was like, I will never forget that number. That number stays in my head. Never will forget it. And she was like, yeah, that room's haunted for sure. And so she starts to tell me stories. And I didn't tell her anything about what happened to me in my dream or anything. And then she proceeds to tell me what happened. She said, when this hospital first opened, the children's hospital first opened, there was a little girl that was in that room. And she was fine. You know, she was doing good. She was getting better, whatever. Then randomly, she dies. Out of nowhere. They don't know why she died. I don't think they even figured out why she died. But the parents acted very strange, from what she said. The parents acted very strange. So they thought maybe the parents had something to do with it. But they never knew, never found out. So, yeah. But she said that a lot of the nurses will come in the room about 3 in the morning. The nurse button will go off. They'll walk in and they'll see the little girl sitting on the sink. And then she'll disappear. And one of the times that it happened, a nurse went in the room because the nurse button was pressed, and the little girl was sitting on the sink, and she was like, you need to be in bed. It's 3 in the morning. What are you doing? And it wasn't her patient, so she went out and got the nurse that was actually her patient, her nurse or whatever. And she said, your patient, she's still up. She's in there sitting on the sink. Like, why is she still up? And she was like, what? She was like, there's a little boy in that room. She was like, my patient's a boy. And so they went back, and the little girl was gone, and everyone in the room was asleep. A lot of other rooms have history too. There's 51, which I've also stayed in. I didn't have any experiences with that one, but that one is haunted as well. Toys will go off in the middle of the night. The nurse button will go off, and they'll answer it, and they'll hear a toy playing, and they'll go in there, and everyone will be asleep. One of the nurses that I'm really close with, she went in there, the baby swing was on, and so she turned it off, left the room, came back, it was back on, and she had to keep going back, and it just kept turning back on. So, another story, the nurses were all sitting at the nurse's desk, and it was around Christmas time. It was around 3 in the morning, which is where all this haunted stuff happens, 3 in the morning. And there were these bells on the desk, and then it was literally as if someone had just ran by and just hit every bell, or was like walking under them, but every single bell went off like someone had just like ran their arms through them, like this or something, you know. So they all freaked out then. They've had people come and cleanse the space and do remodeling. There was actually a room next to 51, the room that was very super haunted, and they literally turned that room into a hallway. I think it was because the room was so haunted, nobody wanted to be in that room, so they turned it into a hallway and renovated it completely, and it's not a room at all anymore. So, and now the room next to it is haunted. So they wonder, like, did it transfer? But it's all the rooms that have the ante rooms that are haunted. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because they have that suction thing room and it, like, traps the ghosts. But, like, if you die in a tragic event, if you're in a car wreck, if you die randomly for no reason, if you are shot, if you are just killed for no reason, just randomly, you know, you're more likely to get stuck where you're killed at, or where you are most likely, where you are at a lot. So you're more likely to get stuck because you don't know you're dead. A lot of the people, they don't know they're dead. So some of these kids, it's sad, they don't know they're dead. So they are stuck, or they think that they're stuck. So it's honestly really scary, and it's sad to think about that some people have not moved on, you know. I've been in rooms where the paper towel thing will go off in the middle of the night, and I'm like, damn it. Last night, yesterday I'd said my pump has not beeped at all since I've been here. This is so weird. Last night my pump was going crazy, would not stop. They changed it. They changed my pump 4 different times, and finally they got it to work. But anyways, then I was just sitting there, and a medicine cup, you know, one of these things, just literally flies off the table like that, just flies off the freaking table. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And so then I looked down at my chapstick, and that had just flew off the table. Nothing had moved. There was nothing that could have knocked it down. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this room, please don't be haunted. Like, for me, I can't handle it. I'm terrified of paranormal things. Even though it interests me so much, it still terrifies me. But I always say love and light and God, like, overcomes everything. Like, light always wins, love always wins, and you know, you have to keep confessing that, you know. If you guys would like me to do more paranormal stories, like story times, I would love to. If you guys want to comment down below some paranormal story times that I could talk about, some scary stories that I can talk about, go ahead and comment down below. It really interests me. I've been watching Haley Reese a lot, and I really like her channel. But yeah, that's really all that I can think of right now that's happened. But I know there's more stories. Yeah, there's definitely more stories. I just thought of some. But if you guys want to see more paranormal story times, or if you want me to do some research and talk about a certain story time that's scary, let me know, and I will. One of my nurses, I have to go down and go get my food, but one of my nurses, her daughter actually had just had a seizure. She was looking up in the ceiling, and she was like, there's a baby, she looks so happy. And my nurse was like, okay, you know, she just had a seizure, so that's probably why. Turns out, she figured out a baby had just died in that room 2 days before they were admitted. So crazy. Just crazy things that happen. But yeah, you guys let me know what you guys want to hear, and I will for sure do videos on it. I find paranormal things very interesting, but also very terrifying. So yeah. And around Halloween time, I'll do a lot of videos about like haunted things and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.